you need to have your own conviction about it, So like understand the market
Yeah.
and for sure, I think it's important to listen your advisors, your business angel, to read some books. But the best way, for example, make some modification on your business model is to listen your customer and listen the user, and better understand the market, of like the mapping of the market, etc. And that's why one of the first employees at Humanlinker I hired.
Today's successful revenue leaders once started their careers just like you and I. They faced the challenges that their careers brought to them, they rose to the occasion, and became the leaders that we admire today. Join me as we explore the skills and stories that make a great leader with a pinch of vulnerability. Hello and welcome to Sales Therapy. I'm your host, Alper Yurder. Grab a chair. This is your exclusive invitation to the therapy room, as leaders are going to be sharing their career defining moments, their secret tips and tricks in their arsenal towards success. And I promise we'll always end on a positive note. So, today in the therapy chair, we have Thibault Brioland, who is the CEO and co founder of Humanlinker. Thibault is your outbound guru, a startup advisor with 12 years of experience, and he just went through another round of raising in the middle of this sugar storm. So, I'm sure he has a lot of good stories to share there. We'll talk about his success, the joy, the pain, and the journey. Welcome to Sales Therapy, Thibault. How are you feeling today?
Yeah, hey Alpo, feeling good. Thanks for the invitation, and let's go.
Excellent. So maybe let's start with a little very quick intro from these past few years. And you just went through your fundraising, and again, I mean, we raised a year ago when it was already tough. You just raised recently. I imagine it was even tougher. Do you want to brag a little about it? Very, very rightfully.
Let's do it. So first, thanks for the invitation. Really happy to be part of the podcast. So I'm Thibault Brioland. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Humanlinker. So 31 years old, located in France, French as well. So I created Humanlinker. It's basically a cutting-edge AI sales assistant that helps sales team generate more pipeline and close more deals through AI and personalization as well. Sales background, started my career in 2011, and I started as a sales rep in door-to-door. I was in charge of selling
Oh wow, the real
joinery.
deal.
Like the TV show White Gold in the UK.
Yeah. Yes.
So yeah, I was in charge of. So it was in the south of France, and I was in charge of selling door-to-door joinery, shuttles, like attic insulation, etc.
Oh my God.
And it was really, really difficult because when you are 18 years old and you are on the field, like, and you need to sell this kind of product, it could be difficult. But it shaped me in the good way for the future. And so quickly, I jumped in the digital ecosystem. And I was like account executive, business developer for several companies, most of the time in the SaaS industry and the market ecosystem as well. And so I made a business school, and the particularity of this business school, it was in like sandwich course. That is to say, I was working for a company in the same time, 3 weeks in the company, 1 week at the business school. So it helped me to better understand the job of a sales rep, to sign my first deals and to improve my skills for sure. And it was very, very interesting to get all this experience as a salespeople.
Okay,
And
excellent. We'll get to the experience, but you jump straight to it because you skipped the younger years, and I won't let you do that. So I want to know about the fundraising story, but let's follow the process then. Okay, let me start it with any good therapy starts with childhood and growing up. Let's hear a little bit your background story, your younger years before school and everything. Like, how was your childhood? How did it shape the person that you are today? You already started mentioning the hardships and how it shaped you, but let's hear a bit more on that.
Yeah, before to start my studies, to be honest, I wasn't a good student because sitting on the chair all week long, it was too boring for me. That's why I needed something different, and that's why I started to work in the sandwich course as well after my graduation, and so I grew up in the south of France near the sea, a lot
Oh,
of
I love it.
sports like mountain biking, running, etc., etc., golf as well. And so
Wow.
I had a chance to grow up in a very sunny place. That's why after many years I decided to quit my job in Paris and to go back to the south of France. And yeah, pretty happy childhood. And I don't know if I was dedicated since the childhood to the job of salespeople, but yeah, it's like that.
Okay. Is there anyone else who was interested in selling in your family, like who was an entrepreneur or salesperson, anything like that?
Yeah, my grandfather was a salesperson,
Oh, there you
so
go.
it was a
So we
long time
found the root
ago.
cause.
Maybe, and my father is a golf teacher, and for a long time he worked by himself, as an entrepreneur as well, and
Mm,
so yeah. I
I
think
love that.
help me better understand how to run a business and how to create something from nothing, etc. So I think, yeah, it shaped me.
I love the create something from nothing. We'll touch on that. Do you continue those hobbies, mountain biking, golf, etc.?
Yeah. When I can, when I have time to do it during the weekend, etc. I just started kite surfing as well a few months ago in the south of France, and I'm just back from Morocco. I was there for kite surfing as well in the south of Morocco.
Oh, I
It
love it.
was
Oh
a
man,
blast. So
you're living the dream. That sounds really cool. In the sunny south of France, and then traveling all those
yeah.
places. But you said you have an office in Paris, I believe, in our intro chat. Whereabouts is that?
In the west of Paris, near
Mm,
the house of our head of sales, Romain. We
mm,
decided to create an office in Paris because it's better to interact with our partners and our
yeah.
customer as well, and our investor as well. So for the moment we have only offices in Europe and in France,
Hmm.
but we are for sure expanding our business globally, and I think the next step would be an office in the US, but I think at the end of the year, after the Series A, maybe. But
Fant-
we're gonna deep dive on it.
Fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of French founder friends that I speak to whose patterns are somehow in sunny, beautiful South or somewhere, Lyon or whatever, and then they end up in the US. So you might be the next one to do that.
We'll see.
Excellent. And yeah, I want to touch on the recent fundraise a little bit, just as I said in the beginning. I think this is a really difficult time to raise, but you just closed your round recently. Like, who did you raise from? How was that? Was it hard, easy? Do you have any secrets
Yeah.
for anyone raising at the moment? Any tips?
Yeah, so maybe to tell you the story about it. So we created a company with a venture capital firm, Swiss from Switzerland, and so we created a company with them in 2021 directly at the beginning of the project, at the creation of the company, and so we make like the first fundraising at that time, and we made another one in 2022. It was like the pre-seed, and actually it's the seed round.
Mm-hmm.
So we raised from the beginning like $3.5 million, and on this round we have more than 14 business angel added to the capital, including the former CEO of Microsoft in France and Southern Asia. It was the CEO of Altran as well, like
Mm-hmm.
a very large company. It was
Mm-hmm.
the global CEO, and we had the chance as well to have the Southern Europe VP of HubSpot. So it's a great opportunity for us to work in close collaboration with HubSpot, and for sure we have Carista. So the venture capital firm, we invested in the company in 2022. Put more money in the project to accelerate and I hope, raised a really big Series A until the end of the year.
That's really great.
So
It's always good when you have existing investors who are putting a bit more money, who are willing to
yeah,
and jumping
and
into.
yeah, sure, and maybe to give you more context about why we raised funds. So last year we bought a company. So we bought MyProfilia, for a company from Luxembourg, and we bought this company, this technology, to be more efficient and be more impactful on AI and personalization. Because I'm going to talk about it after, I think, but it's interesting to understand the personality of your prospect, to better engage with them. And so we bought the company, and we launched the PLG motion as well. So that's why we started with the sales-led motion. So we created the software. It was only with like CRM connection, etc. And most of the time, I think it's interesting to put some insight for your community, etc. So we created first the technology, so a software connected only with HubSpot, Salesforce, and it wasn't available without any CRM connection. And so it could be difficult to expand your business globally when because you need a lot of customer success manager, etc., etc. You only work on annual commitment deals, etc. So we wanted to expand our business globally and faster, and that's why we created from the first software a part of our technology, and we created the Chrome extension. So we added the PLG motion to the sales-led motion, and that's why we invested a lot of money into it. We bought MyProfilia as well, and we jumped in the AI generative landscape as well, because we are really into AI generative motion for sales. It was better to invest more money and to be for sure more present in the global ecosystem.
Okay, that all sounds very interesting and timely, and I think a lot of people will take away good stuff from that today. But just so I understand, the road to building Humanlinker, and I always love to understand the founder's story. Like, are you solving your own problem? Are you solving a problem that you see in the market? Obviously, you've been in sales, so I guess it's a bit of both. What was the story to building Humanlinker like? Or what kind of experiences you had before that led to building Humanlinker?
Yeah, sure. Loving to explain this kind of situation. So I met my co-founder 3 years ago. I was living in Marseille at that time, and I was running a company, a sales consulting company, after many years as salespeople in several tech startups with my team, implementing some sales technologies, etc. And it was all the time still the same pain, you know. It's difficult to prospect. We need to target. It's difficult to get meetings. Decision makers are overwhelmed, etc., etc. But how to do it? For all the different targets that you are reaching to, from SMB to enterprise, you need to save time. So created basically a technology able to analyze tons of data points about a company and about any decision makers in order to better generate impactful sequences. For example, we are able to analyze the personality of anyone, to understand his or her communication preferences in order to better generate with AI the tons of the emails, the sequences, etc. If it's possible, for example, to make some jokes, etc., etc. And it's more impactful. And we are able to analyze the increase of the reply rates, for example. So it was the story at the beginning, and we worked in close collaboration with a venture capital firm, all the technology with more than 30 tech engineers.
Okay, wow, that's a fascinating story. Okay, man, those are very timely problems for a lot of people. I'm sure a lot of salespeople. The thing is, like, this question is there. Okay, we all hate emails, outreach is terrible, a lot of noise, blah, blah, blah. And then everyone comes out and says, like, oh, I'm going to save you. And actually, France is a great producer of sales tech tools. Like, you are among great company. We can dive into that. Like, I don't know why, but France produces great names like Lavender, Guillaume Aubèche, Valaxy, so many great tools that you are up against maybe. Where do you feel like you are among all that crowd? Where do you fit in better, or what is your niche, do you feel like?
I think we have a different approach from them, from, for example, Valaxy or Lemlist. For Lemlist, we are partnered with them. Excellent. Because we are connected with them, because we are more into intelligence, like AI intelligence, and they are more into like sending the cadences, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's like a different approach.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to focus more into the intelligence, how to better understand prospect, the companies, etc.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's complementary. But yeah, in France there are a lot of good sales tech, but I think it could be, for example, in the venture capital point of view, it could be crowded. But if you see the market opportunity and the size of the market globally,
Yeah, it's a huge. Yeah,
it's okay,
I completely agree. I
depending on
mean,
the road.
I completely agree. That was my point. When starting Flowla, we started from my own pain point, which is closing complex deals is difficult. And I was thinking, like, how many AEs do I see on Apollo, and how many of them could use my product, and that would save the world? I think that the market opportunity is quite good. Does it work solely with the purpose of sales development, or does it also help with closing deals?
Yeah, so we are working from sales development, prospecting to closing deals, because, for example, I don't want to do too much promotion about Humanlinker, but we have a part of the technology connected to the CRM system, able to guide on a daily basis salespeople, detect some buying signals, trigger events about prospect or actual customer, in order to give them information about them, prioritize the territories, like prioritize between accounts, between companies, so be more impactful. For example, if it's an actual customer, about the buying signals, you can for sure like work on an upsell or cross sell, for example. And at the same time, we have AI guidance, for example, through all the data that you have about the company and the decision makers, and personalization as well. For example, we have like tips to better close deals and to better negotiate with someone, thanks to AI and thanks to the personality analysis.
Okay, I love that. I think what we can do is in this. I don't generally do this because I try not to do it very promo, but it's very interesting. So maybe we add the teaser video or something, because I'm looking forward to trying it a little bit as well. It's very interesting. What we try with Flowla is a similar approach, like a bit like a sales companion, where the product can give a bit of signals about when do you have to act, what do you have to do. That's all good. I want to talk a bit about AI, because I think it's a word that already now is so overused, and some people love it. Some people are like, okay, what am I going to do? For others, it's just ChatGPT. For you, what is AI, and how do you see its best implementation with Humanlinker?
For me, AI, it's all about analyzing tons and millions of data points and creating some content. For example, in our case, it could be sequences, emails, comments, etc. And it's all about helping and helping salespeople be more impactful and level up their skills. And in our case at Humanlinker, so we have like a huge prompt engineering system automatically integrated in the technology, able to scan all the information about the company. So it's our own AI able to do it. In the same time, analyzing all the data points about a prospect, including their personality. For the personality, we are basically analyzing the LinkedIn profile, semantics, the way to write the LinkedIn post, the comments, the studies, professional experiences.
I wonder what my personality comes out as if I go into a Humanlinker.
You can do it.
I think we should do a little video of that for the viewers at some point.
So as you know, AI, it's like the sentence I love is like data is food for AI. So and we have food. We have food about companies.
I love it.
We have food about prospects, and it's better to train AI models and to generate like very like valuable content. So after sending all this information to OpenAI, but in the future it could be Mistral AI or any other AI technologies, we are able to generate very impactful sequences according to the previous LinkedIn post, context, the communication preferences, etc. And that's why it's very impactful, and that's why it's generate more meetings, etc.
Yeah, when you
So
talk
it's
about
it's a use
AI,
case.
it's almost, to me, it sounds like you are you an engineer, by the way?
No, no,
You're
no, no.
just business, right? Yeah, because the way you
Yeah,
explain is quite clear, and I feel like sometimes, wow, this guy is so much in the data that he became an engineer just by building the product.
no, yeah, it's not so complicated, to
Mm.
understand. Like, data available. It's most of the time it's public data about companies, about people. It's
Mm.
okay. Like a press article, a LinkedIn post, etc. So
Oh.
AI models are able to, if you give them the right information to analyze the information. If you guide, for example, we are using a specific copywriting framework at Humanlinker, generate our sequences. We are using the Basho style framework.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time with Basho style, it's very strong email, short email with a lot of context. And most of the time at the beginning, it's used like press article, a LinkedIn post, to
Mm-hmm.
create the introduction at the beginning of the email.
Mm-hmm.
And most of the time, we are able to create a link between the a context, like the press article, and the value proposition of the company, and the key initiative of the during of the future,
Yeah.
and your value proposition as
Yeah,
well.
that's what we tell sales teams to do all the time, and then just they don't really have the resource to do, or they don't have the time. So something like this is just a godsend,
Yeah,
definitely.
we
Um,
we realized two things about it. Sales team need to be trained to do it if they don't have access to an AI. How to generate the best copywriting, how to
mhm.
analyze the data, etc. And in the same time, it's very time consuming.
Yeah,
So it's the two different situations that we analyzed, and that's why we created this kind of technology.
I agree. I mean, it's so difficult. I remember like this was 100 years ago, but my boss, who was the founder, he would write emails with me. He would teach me how to write the emails, the body of an email. I mean, now thinking about it, it just gives me anxiety already. So coming to today a little bit in the therapy, Thibault, to you, let's talk about some of the more current issues you're dealing with in terms of building your business. Like, generally, I like the question to be what brought you to therapy today, which is basically what are you trying to solve? What keeps you awake at night? And yeah, let's talk about that a little bit
Yeah.
if you don't mind.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, to talk about the different issue that I had in at Humanlinker, I think first it's the targets because
Yeah.
around the world you have like small business owner, they need to develop their business for sure. Then you have like sales teams, but sales team from small companies, mid-sized companies, large companies. Inside any segments, you have, for example, a sales team of small companies selling to
Big
small
companies.
companies, mid-market companies, and large
Yeah.
companies.
Yeah.
So it's very difficult to understand.
Yeah.
I was familiar with that, but it's difficult to say, okay, in which segments my technology create the best value, the more value.
Oh,
And
that's such a problem that resonates with me as well. I think any founder, where do you target?
And I think on the sales tech it's more difficult than other industries because it's a very huge market, and you can wonder all the time who is your target, etc. And in the same time, your product is still improving, etc. So it could be difficult. I think it's one of the biggest challenge of all sales tech founders. In the second time, I think it's still the question and still an integration for me, but it's the revenue generated from the PLG motion and the sales-led motion. Because, for example, at the beginning we started with the sales-led motion. You are selling to the vice president of sales, but after that the end user are the sales team.
Yeah,
So you
of
need
course.
to have adoption from the sales team. But in the same time, if you are selling to like sales team directly, you need adoption, but most of the times they are not holding the budget.
Exactly.
So it could be.
You know what? I'm going to tell a little personal story of mine, which aligns 100% with this. So I've been in sales forever and complex enterprise sales. In the last three, it's been SaaS high velocity. And in my last role before founding Flowline, I was like, you know what? I want my product to be PLG, the dream. Any salesperson can go and buy, just like, put their credit card and buy just like an Apollo, whatever. And then starting to build flow, I quickly realized no one is as advanced in assigning budgets to their teams. Like it's still a budget holder. It's even if the team is small, they're still a decision maker. So quickly I realized, wow, we need to support this with sales. So now we do sales assisted PLG. I don't know if that makes sense to you.
Yeah,
So
it's the
what's your
same for
solution?
us, you know.
Okay, I was going to ask, what's your solution? How are you organizing right now your team around go to market?
Yeah, I think it's different kind of targets, you know,
Mm-hmm.
because for example, currently the target and the buyer from the PLG motion, it could be like small business owner around the world, in the UK, in the US, and in Europe as well. And it could be sales rep as well.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time, if it's sales rep, because the PLG motion for us, it's without any CRM connection. It could be connected with LEM lists, but that's it. If we analyze that someone bought like the one plan on the PLG motion and could be a good user with his team on like the team plan with all the CRM connection, we need to be more proactive
Mm-hmm.
and to reach to
Figure it out.
the
Yeah.
key user
Yeah.
to help him better use this part of the technology
Yeah.
and to generate a meaning to sell the entire product, you know,
Excellent.
because it's to be like low value for him months after months.
Yeah, when I started building our go-to-market motion, which is a year ago, I was getting inspired by like, I don't know, Notion or the founder of Apollo. I was listening to a lot of podcasts, YouTube, reading books, blah, blah, blah. Do you get your inspiration from others? Like, do you follow anyone else who seem to be doing all these things well? You get advice from or any of that?
Yeah, sure. So as you, I listen like podcast, read it some books, etc. I think we had an extraordinary luck to have many business angel here at Humanlinker,
Yeah.
experience in both enterprise sales and PLG. That's why we receive some advices from some of our business angel,
Mm-hmm.
and you need to have your own conviction about it, you know.
Yeah.
So understand the market, and
Yeah.
for sure, I think it's important to listen your advisors, your business angel, to read some books. But the best way to for example, make some modification on your business model is to listen your customer and listen the user, you know, and better understand the market, of like the mapping of the market, etc. And that's why one of the first employees at Humanlinker I hired was product manager, head of products, to help us better understand the markets, better understand the end users, in order to make some modification into the product and
Mm-hmm.
into the way we sell the product, the technology.
I love that. How many founders are you? Is it just you or?
Two. Yeah,
Two of you. Okay,
two founders,
excellent.
two,
Okay,
two co-founders, and we have a small team of 10 people.
okay, and yeah, we're 10 too. Small, but it's a big. I'm sure you're punching above your weight, so it is a small but big team. I'm sure. So your co-founder, how did you meet them?
So as I told you, in 2019, I created my first company, was a
Mm-hmm.
sales consulting company.
Mm-hmm.
And basically I partnered with a venture capital firm. And so I was working for a Swiss venture capital firm. It was a VC with a specific way to invest. It was capital as a service. Yeah, he partnered with different companies. And my companies and another one. And Regis was the founder of another company, a tech
Okay.
acceleration company. And Regis, it's an engineer. He started to work on engineering at 14 years old. And
Wow.
after that, he created many companies. And in these companies, Flexpert, he hired 40 engineers. So we had the chance at the beginning of the project to have a lot of engineers to create a Humanlinker. So
Oh wow.
so the founder of the venture capital firm do the go-between at that time, and we started the project like that.
Got you. Okay. Coming towards the end of the show, the one question that's still hanging in my head and in many people, I think, on LinkedIn, for example, there's so much outreach advice, prospecting advice, like everyone's giving advice. I'm interested in hearing your perspective on which advice to take and which not, maybe, which you already alluded to, like your own conviction is important. And B, if you were to throw in like practical tips for people using your product or not, regardless, but they're out there, they need to hit their numbers, they need to prospect, like, and you've been there for a decade over. What are your tips for people? What should they do?
Yeah, I think I really love to speak about like the fight against like quantitative approach and qualitative approach. I think in 2024 we are really into a new way of doing business, a new way of prospecting, and we focus more on a more qualitative approach. It's not important to send like 1,000 emails per week to find your next 10 customers. You need to focus on your ICP, focus on the right target, and after that start to send like low quantity of messages, and understand, feel the answers, like speak with them, etc. And after when you analyzed, the small parts of the like always like you get success. It's better to put more quantity of the in the biggest volume on the emails, etc. And I think it's one of the best advice I can give to the audience. It's to be more focused on a more qualitative approach, because the quantitative approach, it could be tough for your brand as well, for your company, because if you are like sending thousand and thousand cadences, it could be really difficult for your company, and year after year, company need to be careful about it, to preserve the image.
Yeah, reputation. Absolutely. I completely agree with that. Like, start small, test, improve before you hit, full throttle, like blasting 500 emails. Figure out what works for you. I completely agree with that. Well, that's been a great chat, Thibault. Before we come to the end of it, do you have any closing remarks for people who are trying to make it in the world of sales, or in general about Humanlinker? Anything you'd like to share?
Yeah, I think the closing words would be good luck, be strong for this year. I think it could be tough like past year, but focus on a more qualitative approach, for sure personalization, do more consultative selling, understand your prospects, and I think, and after that, better prepare your meetings. Better prepare your meetings to generate more impact in the meetings. I think it could be one of the biggest success key in 2024 to generate value and to close more deals.
Yeah, I agree. I think quality over quantity is something that already some people speak. We just did like a roundup of the best practices, and we featured actually your remarks on our blog about how to prospect in 2024. And one of the interesting quotes I saw was quantity of quality. Which I think is a new term, but you need to do both, unfortunately.
And maybe I can give you something to close the conversation. But we're gonna launch something during the next few weeks. It will be quantity and quality in the same time.
Okay. I think now you're giving people the carrot, so they're gonna stick around to see what's coming. I mean, we'll definitely be following. Thank you so much, Thibault, for being a guest, and it was a pleasure chatting with you. Thank you for listening to this episode of Sales Therapy. If you want to follow us on Spotify, YouTube, you know what to do, and you know where to find Thibault, probably on LinkedIn. And go and check out Humanlinker. I mean, I definitely will. And I want to do that video where we profile my profile so people can know how to prospect me better. Excellent. Thanks, Thibault.